triple overtime game. You know, two teams left that field exhausted, a lot hotter that day, but right down to the last play. And you got a game today that again goes down to the very last play. That's great for the state. It's great for a rivalry, and this series is a rivalry. It's fun to coach in it. It's fun to play in it. This was a great day for Iowa State and for the state of Iowa. I got kids who start the season 0-2, play a disappointing football game in the opener, get beat by a good football team, but play a disappointing game, come back and play with great energy, and don't finish the job, and some other things that went along with that. And we've done nothing but get better every single day, and in the first 2 weeks after the first game of the season. That's pleasing to me as the head football coach of this program. Proud of my kids, proud of their perseverance to get this season started through week 3. Proud of the coaching staff, their devotion, the time they put in it, and the preparation they did with these kids. Proud to be 1-2.
Paul, did you say anything to Cole Nedden before he went out there?
Yeah, I did. I told him what the plan was, to run the clock down and leave it to one play. That didn't happen. The official misunderstood me and stopped it early. So we ended up with having to kick off. But Cole's a very mature young man, and it was just a reminder to don't overkick it. Just do your job and kick the football.
When you talked to him, did he seem calm for that moment?
He was extremely calm.
Surprised you?
Yeah. No. Most of those guys that's their craft, punting and kicking, all that. That's the way they are. They're not anxious. They're not anxious people. Excuse me. But there's always a lot of hang-arounds over there trying to talk to them, thinking they're going to teach them real quick, to be calm or to kick well or to win a game. But you can't spend all your time getting everybody around them, and it's good to have that demeanor, which Cole does.
Paul, where was this game won?
A lot of places, but first and foremost in between the years. I felt in the second half of the Kansas State game, in the fourth quarter probably more specifically, if you were to have polled our kids at some point in the fourth quarter, there would have been doubt in their minds that they could win the game, that they could finish the game. So one of the themes for the week, we couldn't have any doubt that we were going to win the game. And at halftime, down 14-3, and beating ourselves in a lot of ways, there was no hesitation. It was a intent, focused group that were ready to go out and play the next 30 minutes of football game. So yeah, to answer your question, it was one in between the years. They believed that they could win a game, and they went out and physically followed up with that.
Paul, was there a player or two you thought that did that?
Say again, Bobby.
Was there a player or two that you thought did that changed it to that point that they knew they could, between the ears kind of stuff, that switched it for them?
A player or two today?
Yeah.
Well, I think when you go down and score and go up, it lifts your confidence, certainly. But the sideline was unwavering. I mean, we were moving the ball in that direction, but we hadn't got done yet. But they never backed off in their energy and attitude towards being successful. Last week in the Kansas State game, we had first downs every drive. We were across the 50 multiple times in that second half, and we didn't finish. We were moving again today to finally stick the one in the end zone, the second score, and take the lead. I'm sure it was uplifting to what they already had going.
Well, at the end of the half, too, you had to overcome a fumble in the end zone right before the half.
Yeah. We're knocking on the door, and we're going in, and we're going to go in 14-10 and receive the second half kickoff. We were going to get the boost that we needed that Kansas State got a week ago, going in and scoring on us at the end of the half. So I'm a teacher, and I love lessons. And through 2 weeks we've had a lot of lessons to learn from, of adversity that we've faced. And you fumble the ball going into your end zone, Bob, you could fold your tent up right then and there. And you could say, it's happening to us again. Woe is me. But because of what we've been doing from Sunday to Saturday, they didn't say that. And they moved past the play. I told DV, we're going to need you again. He went out and fumbled again in the second half. Okay? But the coaches stuck with him, and he stuck with himself, and the teammates stuck with himself. Next thing you know, he's catching a huge touchdown for us. They just didn't back off.
A lot of coaches would have not let Neely back in. Why did you?
Confidence in my players.
What did the Mutcherson pick do for you guys?
Huge boost. Is that the only turnover we got?
Yeah.
So we got one turnover in 3 games. Finally gave our offense a short field to work with, and the results were 7 points, touchdown. Huge shot.
A lot of the pressure being produced on the run, not just from blitzing, but your up front defense in front.
Yeah, and pressure like that without, we didn't bring five rushers one time today. We brought a 4th but dropped a guy out. We never brought 5 or more one time today. So those kinds of pressures are a combination of coverage downfield and guys being persistent to try to finish the job, and they move the quarterback in a pocket. Now, their touchdown drive, he made a phenomenal play on 4th down and extended it, and they got in the end zone. As the game went along, we started to make a few more plays in those situations.
No, you've said Sam's gotten better.
You're sort of hogging it,
No kidding.
I know you said.
Randy, enough of him. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, Paul, I've got one quick question.
And the elder statesman just went over to both of you right there, didn't he?
Getting the halftime thing back after Devondre fumbled, what did you say in the locker room? That could have been another Oklahoma thing. Last year.
I talked about playing one play at a time. I talked about continue to play hard and be focused. And I talked about what I've said, not to doubt. I tell you what I did tell him, Randy. You'll appreciate this. When I was a junior in high school, we were playing a basketball game, and I was sitting right next to a guy by the name of Kevin Flack. And somebody fouled out. Larry had to put somebody in the game. And he looked down. Okay, Kevin put his eyes down. I looked Larry right in the eye. Okay, Larry chose me to go in the game. Right before I pulled him up to tell him those things, I looked around the locker room, and every eye met me. Every set of eyes met me. Nobody was shying away. Everybody was ready to go. I didn't need to say much to help them overcome. We took care of that Sunday to Saturday.
Coach, your offense there in the 4th quarter, you needed big drives, and they delivered. What did you see from that drive from Richardson, 92-yarder to take the lead, and then obviously the game-winning one to take the field goal? What did you see out of your offense on those 2 drives?
A lot of guys stepping up and making key plays. The guys that get lost in that are the offensive linemen. Sam had some time to throw, and those routes weren't all immediate. There was some crossing stuff and guys that had to find windows, and the guys up front, the front 5, gave Sam the time to find those guys. I said earlier I thought Sam played his best game as an Iowa State Cyclone against North Dakota State. After the Kansas State game, I said I think he's played his 2 best games as an Iowa State Cyclone. Today he probably played his best game as an Iowa State Cyclone, which I forecasted a week ago. That's just the mindset that young man is. He's improving. He's taking the coaching. He's going out and working on the fundamentals and making good decisions. It's fun to see his growth.
With
Call on that last
few second kick. Is there worry, or what do you think when he's got to take that second one? Is there worry that'll get in his head or influence when he's got to do it for real?
Absolutely. 70,000 screaming fans, and you just missed one, and the game's on the line. Absolutely. Reminded him to not overkick it, do his job and kick the ball.
You had a lot of guys go down, Jarvis and a few others. Do you have any injury updates on how
I have not talked to medical staff to have any updates.
And it sounds like, Paul, you mentioned, do you think he missed that first kick when Iowa called the timeout? You said on Cole.
Did he?
Do you think he missed the first
Oh,
kick?
yeah.
He did.
Well, I'm pretty sure he did.
Yeah, he did.
It wasn't clear from the...
No, I'm pretty sure it was to the left.
So what goes through your mind when you turn around and then figure out there's a timeout called?
Well, I knew they'd call timeout because the guys were running in. So I was pretty happy about it.
All the play call and the catch by Bibbs for that first touchdown, can you run over that a little bit? It seemed like you got one hand on that thing.
It was, I mean, a jump pass. You know, we've done a lot of option down the line, and we've done a lot of option in that situation, and we'd run one, so it was set up decently. Sam would sure like to have that passed back. He threw that like my putting game, and just about left. I don't golf, you know that. Just about left it short. EJ made a tremendous catch.
Paul, there was no hesitation for you going for it on that fourth down play right there. Why?
We were that close. We were down 11 right at the time, and field goals wasn't going to give us the boost we needed or the points that we needed, and we were too close.
I'm going to have to go shake Kirk's hand after the game, but a rivalry win down to the wire. What do you want to soak in the most from that moment? It doesn't come along very often.
I'm going to have a victory. It's September 13th. Been a long time since we won a game, and we worked awfully hard. I savor a victory.
Coach, talk about the play.
Talk
about the play of defense. I mean, 4 sacks there over that.
Yeah. I looked up one time, and time of possession was 18 minutes to 7 or something like that. Something ridiculous. And they were doing what they'd done to us a year ago in Ames. They were just running the ball and running it for 4 and 6 and moving the sticks and keeping our defense out there in the field. And guys just kept on playing. And one thing that we talked to them about at halftime was you got to get some third down stops. You know, we were letting them convert too much, and they came back out in the second half, and a combination of that pressure and coverage and did get themselves off the field.
In your Iowa State career, where do you rank this one?
Well, what's happened in the past is done. Can't control what's going to happen in the future. Today we won a football game. I'm pretty happy with it. Nothing to rank. I'm pretty happy with this.
A guy like Betters maybe gets lost in the picture. He's got a big third down catch, 3